him know that like something happened.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a power outage. Shane's internet provider, Sprint Mobile, I think it's called, or actually, I think he's a little bit old that he still uses dial-up internet to this day
Damn, that's
at
cold.
his crib. At his crib, so it looks like I think we're live, Shane, because I've seen the notification,
Okay,
so I do
perfect.
think we are good to go. So yeah, to everyone else that got cut up, and shout out to you. Shout out to you if you sat through this the first half of the podcast, and then you said, well, they cut off, and then we went back over to this video and you listened to part two. So definitely let us know in the comment section if you in fact did that, and I might have to give you a prize for doing that if you do comment that. So shout out to you for real if you are doing that. So Shane, my last question before we got cut off by your dial-up internet was, do you think that Kiv overthought him not wanting to divulge his secrets into Madden, and do you think he would have benefited more if he would have went towards the the Dubby and problem route of things? Right.
I don't know him personally. I do think that probably at the time that he won it all, he could have been he was marketable on certain aspects for sure. Certain aspects for sure, and then I think there's certain aspects that might have hindered him. But if I was him, I definitely would have went and did it and just saw where the chips fell. I think he would have had a good chance if he cleaned certain areas up. But I mean, I think he would have been just fine if he would have, just did it anyways. So yeah, it was a missed shot for him, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I know you don't know Kiv personally. He seems like you said, he seems marketable. Maybe he doesn't really have, the charisma or like the, kind of the swagger that someone like Dubby has per se. And I think that's probably one of the big reasons why Dubby is kind of, popular is because of his you know, personality, and also he's very opinionated on certain things. So in saying that, do you think that Henry, for example, with him, coming over to the whole content side, do you think that a lot of these guys, that play Madden, do you think that if they were to apply themselves, that they could be successful into, the whole content thing to get, kind of the regular people that you tried to appeal yourself to come and watch them online?
I really do. And I mean, do I think that I think it's much harder now to become a content creator than it was maybe a few years ago. Like for example, like in Matt, I believe it was 2015 I started this channel. I was made fun of by certain pros thinking that it wasn't, you know, smart to do. I think that if I would have won a belt, let's just say in Madden 15 or Madden 16, my mine would have blown up completely. I think I'd be in the 50 to 100K range right now because at that time there wasn't that many people. Like even even the guys now that are doing it, there's way more people trying to do it. I've had people try to do YouTube and failed because they even admitted it was way harder than they thought, and they decided to stay on Twitch or some. I think one of them did Facebook Live, one of my buddies, but it's way harder now than people think because there's way more people, right? So even if you're a top pro, I think you have to be very marketable. Like back in the day, like Joel CP, like he didn't win anything, but he was marketable. Why? Because he screamed at everyone. People found it entertaining. Now, on the same aspect, people thought Don't Care About Ice was entertaining when he talked crap to Skimbo, but like overall, they didn't find him marketable. And that's nothing against him. It's just how people pick and choose. Right now, I think it's way harder to become big as a content creator and marketable with so many other people trying to do it as well. So you need the right avenue. I think you need to make deep runs in MCS, especially if you're trying to put out stuff. And then you have to advertise. You have to pay for advertising. I know a couple business people that spend $1,000 to $1,500 a month on advertising, and it's all paid back basically from bringing in new customers. Now, on the YouTube aspect, let's just say Trey, you did an MCS run, right? And you got you won it all, and it brought your YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers, right? And you're making $1,000 a month, but you're like, you know what? I want to get more. So you spend 500 of the 1,000 advertising. Well, eventually over the time, you're bringing in new people that find you entertaining and are subbing to you that wouldn't have found you necessarily without that advertising. And then by the end of the year, you're at 30, 40K, and then you can continue to advertise or be cool with like 4 or 5 thousand a month. And so you have to have all that stuff rolled into one. You have to be charismatic. You have to be informative. I think you have to be friendly enough to your customers that are in your streams or subscribers. And then at the same time, you have to advertise. Like when we advertise, when I spent, that 20 advertising for our podcast, it was only $20, but Trey, it brought in 25 new subscribers. So I mean, so imagine if we could have dropped 200 or 2,000 on it. So I think it's all rolled into one, though, Trey. Honestly, I think you have to be charismatic. I think you have to be informative. I think you have to put yourself out there, and I also think you need to advertise, be it paid advertising or just grinding and putting your name everywhere in everybody's streams, which some people have. But at the same time, like I know a person who used to go on everybody's stream and pay, the streamer to talk to them, and they liked them, but then people didn't like it how it felt like they were shady and trying to start business for themselves. So for me, it's just basically a few things. You need to be informative. You need to talk to your customers, and then paid advertisement does help. So that's where I'm at, and I think that because content creation is at a way tougher, thicker standpoint of standing out than it did, 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah, no doubt. You definitely have to stand out more because it's just everything is just so saturated now. And hearing you say, about the advertising, there is, this one interview guy that I watch. And he was kind of talking about the same thing. He was saying that, he would be like talking to like record labels and stuff like that. And he said that you would be surprised if you actually knew that how much, like these big time rappers that a lot of their songs were fabricated with like all these fake numbers. And not saying that doing advertising and all that is the same as just buying, views outright, but he was saying that, like a lot of these rappers at first, they basically just pumped all these numbers in and it got the algorithm to kind of pick it up, and all of a sudden they're like A-listers. So I definitely understand what you're saying on that end, but going back to, you said that, when you first started this YouTube thing, people would kind of make fun of you, kind of, look down on you, and actually, kind of your first videos was, you playing Gamer Saloon games, and there wasn't commentary or anything like that, and then you kind of switch over to, the tip videos and etc. But was it because you were making a lot of money from doing ebooks and stuff like that already that was kind of your main focus in starting YouTube was try to get more views and doing your whole ebook thing, or did you kind of have already a higher outlook on the business at that time?
That's a really good question, Trey. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, I mean, that's what we're going on almost 10 years now. And I think that I just wanted it. I think I posted those Gamer Saloon money games against some of the pros out there because I wanted people to know that I was good, and because a lot of them be like, "No way did you beat them," yada yada yada, and so I think I started it as like proof to show like, yeah, I'm good, I'm a good player, and then I started getting to like, yo, I'm gonna put out tip videos and maybe blow this all up, right? And that's where I am on that. Yeah, so I kind of like it started as an ego trip for me, maybe for a couple months, but then yes, I did start to think like, oh, I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do videos, but I didn't put enough videos out at that time. I mean, I did do like kicking videos, obviously, like the video or patch videos, but I didn't do any other tips. But I mean, and that would have been all okay too because people like that, and then you got Eric Rayweather who stole my patch view idea, and he makes 100K views, which is whatever. Like at first I hated the dude for that, and I called him out on Twitter, but you know, now I just think it as like whatever, dude. He's making money. So yes, to sum it up, Trey, it was an ego thing for a little bit, and then I started thinking like, man, I might be able to make some good money from it. And people were, like, no way you'll make good money from it. Like, ha ha ha. What's good, Rose? How you doing? We're on part two, you guys. Part two of the podcast due to I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my internet, or if it was YouTube for a second because like Trey said, we didn't lose connection in our party chat that we're in, which you'd think that if I lost internet, it would have booted us out, like he said. But just summing it up, Trey, it was ego for a little bit, and then it was I thought that I could blow up, but I thought I would blow up way faster. I was kind of like those people that start now. I think they're going to blow up right away, but I should have done much more at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the issue, Shane, is that I think we may have someone kind of looking over us that maybe wants to sabotage our podcast a little bit. That's trying to cut us off and keep us down is kind of what I think is going on. So, but with all that being said, you kind of have to roll with the punches. But it is interesting, Shane, because because we're kind of a little bit older, and what I mean by that is just because when you think of YouTube and how it is today, it's like almost it's they sold out. Like people don't realize that YouTube when it first started was like its own independent website, separate from everything else, and now it's just be kind of corporate, basically the same thing as Google. And, I kind of want to get your opinion. Like, were you kind of on YouTube back in its prime days, like when it first started out? And, when it was kind of, first starting to come out, what did you think of, YouTube back then, if you can remember?
Bro, I think it came out in like '05 or something. I'm gonna go back. Rose said that sometimes streams will auto crash when it's nighttime. The servers will usually reset or something because the PlayStation and YouTube live stream connection dumbed out. So it wasn't us and Trey. It wasn't like your internet or my internet. Obviously, it had to be my internet. Couldn't be yours. So it wasn't what I'm taking from it. It wasn't anyone's internet. She thinks that sometimes it does that at nighttime, like they reset or something, like the YouTube servers or whatever. So thank you, Rose, for explaining that to me. Okay, I'm gonna really date myself. Like when YouTube came out, I didn't even know about it really. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even know about it. I was on MySpace. That's how old I was. I was on MySpace, and once MySpace went down, I never did Facebook. Or anything like that. So I couldn't really talk about like when YouTube started to blow up. I wasn't really part of that, but I do feel like in when I started, at least in 2015, that like Madden wasn't super popular on YouTube. Now I see people playing on it a lot more, and the biggest thing that I have noticed is pros have started to transport over here, which kind of sucks for me because I'm not as popular as like, a K-Mac or them. I've noticed that K-Mac streams his stuff on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. Did I say that word right? We're gonna act like I did. Um, certain people like that, which I mean, I would if I was him, makes more money. But like for me, it sucks because more Madden people over here putting out videos and stuff like that. I'm gonna fall to the bottom tier. But no, I mean really, Trey, I didn't know much of YouTube when it came out. I didn't even really have a smartphone. Like I didn't have one. Like I mean, people started getting phones on the daily, right? In '05, '06, '07, and '08, and I didn't have a phone. I didn't. I would go to work, I'd come home, I'd hang out with the little one and the wife, I'd play video games, I'd go play basketball, I would run I would still be running 5-on-5 full court at rec league in competitive basketball. Like I wasn't worried about YouTube and all that from shoot whenever it came out from '05 to even probably 2013 and even Madden or 2015 when I started doing this. It wasn't like my main focus. I was still running tournaments and doing all of that stuff. So yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it when it first came out.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that vibe from you that you're the kind of person that likes to be active. You're not really, unless it's not really making your money, you're not the kind of person that likes to, just be online and, kind of get involved in that whole sort of thing. But it is pretty interesting because I know that you actually were involved in music quite some time, and you bring up MySpace, and I'm just curious because from what I hear about MySpace and all kind of the crazy things that entails. And has there ever been like a situation where you were talking to someone from MySpace and you go to meet them and they turn out not to be the people that they say they are, or has there any been like any crazy stories like that at all, or has it just been kind of whatever? What?
No, because Trey, I didn't even really do it like that. Like I would be like friends with my old like high school friends to see what they're doing and like that's it. Like I didn't try to meet any new people or anything like that. I was, maybe I'd check MySpace once every few days, like so it wasn't like I'm trying to meet and greet. I did get a job from I'm gonna age myself again from AOL.com when they had the instant messenger. I got a job at Jack in the Box, and the guy was actually really who he said he was, so he actually hooked me up with a job. But other than that, like honestly, bro, I didn't really do the whole, like meet and greet, try to talk to people on the internet. Like I did troll a little bit in the instant messaging days when I was like 14, 15, 16, but nah, I didn't really any try to meet anyone outside of real life, I guess, because I mean, it was a whole different time and it's kind of like that's why I got kind of trolled online. Like I'd trust people, I'd give them like my Madden plays, think they're cool, and then they'd use me and abuse me. And it took a couple years online during Madden money games to learn that people were shady as hell. And now I don't really mess with them. So nah, man. Basically, no. I'm old. Okay, I'll just say that. Like there's some people that are old that are in the know, then there's some people that are old and just stay old. I'm old and I'm cool with being old in the sense of I don't care to troll you online. I don't care to like try to. I mean, meeting new people is not a big deal. I've met some cool, like I've talked to some cool people online, but like I would meet like you Trey or like Rose or like people like that. Like that's fine. But like I'm not trying to go out of my way to I guess go online and try to find new people in that sense.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. So I mean, and when you talk about all this, I know we're kind of going off topic a little bit, but even like with this whole online dating now, I mean that sort of thing just must feel like completely foreign to you. Like like when you first started hearing about when that started to become popular, like how did you look at it? Because like I imagine like back in your day it was, it was more like, you find who you're interested in and you actually approach them and do that sort of thing. But like what do you think about how that whole thing is now with that?
You know, so there was a thing back in the day where like you would like get online chat and be like A/S/L, which was age, sex, location, and the person would hit it back with like 17 female Florida State, 15 male Washington State. But honestly, now thinking back, like there's probably tons of people that are like 50-year-olds acting like they're little high schoolers to try to talk to real high schoolers. So I mean, that's a little bit weird. Like it's more in your face now. Usually, like the dating sites. Yeah, there's some catfishing, obviously for sure. But if you go through it and you do your due diligence, you can see that what you see is what you get on those dating sites. You know what I mean? Um, and I've heard from some guys, honestly, from some guys, and even from some girls, but more from guys like, oh yeah, well my girl they have a way better chance to cheat on me now because if they go on a dating site, there's they'll be hit up by any guy in the world talking about how hot they are, and they have way better chance before these online dating show or online dating sites and TikTok and Instagram and all that. And while that is true, definitely, like, okay, like if I have a girl, and I'm not talking about my girl, I'm talking about if I have a girl who is very insecure but very hot, right? Insecure and hot, and she's in the 90s, and I have her stay at home while I go work, and she just takes care of the house and the kids if we have it. Sure, there's a chance that she'll never, never cheat. Nowadays that same girl, she still might not cheat because she still has morals, right? So these guys are over like analyzing things like, okay, if the girl's a cheater and you keep her at home and she stays and keeps home, who says she's not pounding the mailman or taking walks around the neighborhood and a guy comes? Like, I mean, you just can't worry about it too much. Yes, there's way more out there now for sure. Like, I'm pretty sure any girl that's decent looking, their DMs are way crazier than mine or yours or any guys. Even really hot guys where they're like 8 out of 10, they're not getting the same amount as the average girl. That's why the whole joke is like when people are like, we should do open relationships, and then it ends up in divorce or breaking up because the guy's like, yo, I want this one chick, so let's open it up. And the girl's like, nah, but the girl has a way better chance, right? Like, a girl could go to the bar right now tonight, Trey, and be like, I want to sleep with whoever wants to sleep with me. Even if she's below average, she's going to get somebody to take her home. A good looking guy, he might get a girl, but he won't have any as many options as a girl, right? Because guys are more physical. Yes, there will be some girls who are physical too, but you know my point of the whole thing. But yeah, it is a little bit different now, and I'm sure that if I was 21, 22, it'd be easy for me to do it, like for sure. And it's just life. Things change, everything changes. Like do you remember the Simpsons, the dad told Homer's like, I was cool, but then what became cool was no longer cool. Like it kind of is like that, bro. So I mean, in the end, like I had instant messaging. Now people have dating websites where, yeah, it does suck. Like, so like I don't know. I want your opinion on this. Like, do you agree with a lot of these dudes that like it makes women become more likely to cheat than before dating sites were available, like in the 80s or 90s? Because I mean I lived through, I've seen tons of stuff where when I was growing up there wasn't even phones, and I found out that like my friend's family broke up because of cheating. So I mean, I think cheaters are just gonna cheat, and people that aren't gonna cheat aren't gonna cheat. Like I'm gonna be honest, I've had my opportunity, and I'm not talking about like I'm so great or anything, but I had my opportunities to step out in the relationship. I'm sure my wife has, and I denied it. Didn't matter what they looked like. I denied it because the guilt and my conscience would eat at me. But I mean, so it doesn't matter if like some girl online threw me, some pictures. Like I still wouldn't do it. Just like the whole excuse about alcohol. Well, I wouldn't have if alcohol. Dude, when I was 21, 22, and I'm rambling, Trey. But when I was 21, 22, I've been hammered and I still didn't make a move or accept a move. And I'd expect that from my wife. I'd expect that from from a spouse. So, I mean, I think things are just excuses and fears become magnified. You know what I mean? Because there's way more out there where you can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that all makes sense, and it's like even when like I've seen guys that say I make this much money doing OnlyFans or whatever, and I'm like, the people that are buying your OnlyFans, I'm willing to bet 90% of them are gay. Like, I don't believe that women are going to spend $15 to see some guy the same way. Most guys are going to see whoever celebrity is out there, naked or whatever. So I definitely understand what you're saying from that end. And it was kind of funny how you said earlier that oh, I don't know if she's pounding the mailman. In reality, you were once a mailman, and if I do remember correctly, there was there was a situation you were telling me about where you kind of some woman was trying to push up on you back in those days.
I mean, yes, and that is very true. But see, I don't know if she was married or not. She did have a kid. Yeah, she told me that she'd do anything that I'd wanted in her apartment, and I was like, "Yo, I'm married. I'm out. I'm sorry." So it's just excuses for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, makes sense. All right, so to kind of bring this all full circle, Shane, I want to give me a prediction on next week Ravens versus Chiefs. Give me a score. Give me your prediction, and also after that, tell me what's going on as far as these patches. I understand we had a college football patch come out not too long ago, and that seemed like that was kind of a moderate patch that they have going on with the college football. And like what are some of the patches that we have to look forward to now when it comes to Madden coming up? Because I think we have a pretty big one coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, Trey. So I got the Chiefs beating Baltimore. Um, Side note, I like to gamble on the side on sports bets. Um, legally, legally, I'm legal. Um, it's funny that there's a place that I travel to that was going to match me for whatever bet I put down if the Chiefs would score 1 point. So whatever the Super Bowl winner was, up to $150,000. Uh, if the Super Bowl winner would score 1 point in Week 1 of the following season, so I need the Chiefs to win or Chiefs to score 1 point and I win my money. I bet, but I didn't bet that much. But anyways, I do think the Chiefs will beat Baltimore. There was a major patch on college football. I think the same thing's going to happen for Madden. I think it's almost going to be the same patch. They basically on college football they fix the switch stick. They they fixed the stem glitch, which is still an issue on Madden, and supposedly they fixed some other stuff. And from what I've been told on Madden is they're gonna fix some zone coverages. They're gonna fix stem glitch. They're gonna fix disengagement. They're gonna fix offensive line blocking. They're gonna fix defensive line blocking, and it's gonna be a huge patch coming out. I would imagine it'll probably be out by next week sometime, Trey.
All right, sounds good. So I got the Chiefs winning on Thursday, and I'm gonna say the score is going to be 30-21 Chiefs for the Thursday night opener coming up. So yeah, be on the lookout for Shane. He'll keep you updated on the patches that were coming up now that we're in full swing of the Madden season. Football's right around the corner, so be sure to subscribe to keep informed on the patches as soon as they drop. And also, there's going to be a new segment. Tried to work it in today, but we kind of got caught up, which is good. That we have so much to talk about, and Shane just blabs all the time. I don't really have a chance to get a word in. I'm just kidding.
My
I'm
bad,
just
bro.
I'm just messing with you. But so starting next week, the new segment that we're going to be doing is going to be called Three Up, Three Down, and basically what that is going to entail is that we're going to be given our top three things that Madden is doing right. So that will be three things that they're doing right, and then three things that are trending down. So that is going to be a new segment that will be coming out the next time Shane and I will be on the podcast, which will be the first West Coast podcast in the month of September. So we'll see you guys then for another edition of the West Coast podcast. Again, we appreciate you guys for bearing with us as we experience some technical difficulties that may or may not be no fault of our own. But we will still own up to it because that's just kind of we are. We like to take accountability around here even when it may not be our fault. So we appreciate you guys for bearing with us on that. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Make sure to check me out on YouTube. I am Trey is Raw. Subscribe to my brother Treeb Talks is his name. And yeah, I'll throw it back over to Shane to close us out tonight.
Yeah. So basically, we always appreciate you guys in here. It was a blast. Yeah. Sometimes I ramble on. I mean, you gotta like ring me back in. You know what I mean? Old man yelling at the clouds. So yeah, we will be back September 13th at 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. We will definitely get into the new stuff that Trey wants to do. He just needs to be like, "Hey, Shane, calm down, calm down." But no, sometimes it is good though that we, like then we have more material for next time, and things happen. Sometimes I'm more talkative than others, other times. But yeah, so we will see you guys September 13th at 10:30 p.m. Pacific time, Friday. I'm Shane, and with me as always was Trey. I appreciate you guys being in here. This was a part two due to whatever happened. I mean, it is what it is. We appreciate you guys tuning in like always. So we will see you on September 13th.